Hi YouTube friends, it's Lee here. Thanks for joining me. Do you love the look of these? Gorgeous, aren't they? So inspired by Dragoner from Sasebo, I made this paper from the backing pages or backing sheets of napkins. So you know how you pull off one layer and just use the good bits, and sometimes you might use the old bits or the other bits. But anyway, stay tuned and I'll show you how I made the paper, and then I'll show you how I made this one. Alrighty, so what you'll need to make this is, first of all, an area where you can get messy without it mattering too much. I'm working on a metal bench and I've got an ironing pad underneath this towel. You will need your backing papers of your napkins. So 5 or 6 makes a good thickness. Your iron. You'll need somewhere to put your papers to dry, somewhere flat. And the mixture that I've made for holding the pages together is made with cornstarch. So it's 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to 2 cups of water. That was the recipe that Dragoner said, but I found it wasn't quite thick enough, so I added about another half a teaspoon. And it's not bad now. It still sprays through the bottle. I've got 2 bits of baking paper because some of these napkins are a bit bigger than 12 inches. And I've just got it taped down onto this towel. So any excess liquid is going to go down onto the towel. So it's a towel that I don't use for anything apart from arty stuff. And I'm just going to spray. Oh, and there's a tablespoon of coffee in there. So to protect my area, I've got this thing, which is one of those disposable tablecloths. So I've only got a very light amount of coffee in there. So spray, put your next piece of tissue paper on there, or napkin, backing sheet. So on this one, it's all, what I'm using is all the plain backs. So the corn flour or the cornstarch is going to work like a glue. So this one is got a bit of a ghost print on it. So that's going to go on there, spray. And the plain one. So that's 4 I've got on there so far. And you can see the colours from the ghost print starting to come through. And that's 5. Spray again. And this is the 6th layer. Okay, so the next thing to do is to put another piece of baking paper over the top. Okay, so I want to squeeze out, flatten down at this top, or flatten it all out. And at the same time I'm squeezing out a bit of that liquid. So I'm just going to move that up to here. You don't need to spray the top layer because there's enough moisture underneath it. You definitely need to have your paper covered. So I might have to pull off another piece because of the cornstarch. If I put my hot iron onto that now, it's going to stick to the iron. And because basically it's like a flour, like a flour paste. Okay, so now that I've got that nice and flat, and a fair bit of the moisture squeezed out. I'm going to start ironing it. Okay. So I've got my iron on the hottest setting and no steam. And I'm just going to iron it till I can see that it's starting to dry out. Then I'll be able to lift that paper off. It's got a little bit of seepage there. Just got to be careful of that. Don't press too hard either. So just wanted to dry it out a little bit, enough to be able to peel it off the paper. The reason I'm peeling it off is because I'm going to use it again, to use the paper. So I guess if you weren't worried about reusing the same piece of paper over and over, you could put it out to dry on the paper. You can see that it's squeezing down here, it's squeezing out that liquid. And it'll start to look different underneath the iron. Once it's starting to dry out. Okay, so this is 6 layers of that backing napkin. The ones that we generally pull off and save for a rainy day but don't ever get around to using. Except for creating texture, I guess that's what I do with mine, mostly. Okay. Just going to see if it's, if I can get it up. Well, if you live in a cool climate, I would say you'd need to leave it overnight to get it dry. It's a really hot day here today. It's going to get up to 30 degrees Celsius, so that's in the 80s, I think. So I think it's going to be able to dry out in the sun fairly quickly. Okay, so just gently separate that from the paper. Need to be careful because it will tear really easily. Once you get it started, it seems to come off beautifully. Ouch. Don't put your arm on the iron. Okay, so you can see it there, and you can see those colours underneath. I'm just going to lift that off. See the other side of it? It's beautiful. And I'm going to pop that aside onto my drying board, which is a piece of, I think it's called particle board or masonite or something like that. Bought it for something else, never used it. I'm just going to mop up around the edge. And I'm going to do another one. Keep using the same side of the papers. Okay, pop that out of the way. And I've got another one here. So last night I went through and I found my backing pieces of the napkins, and I put them together. And I think this one is all just plain. It hasn't really got much. Oh, there's a bit of a pattern on that one. Probably become more apparent once it gets wet. So I'm going to put the first one down. This one's got a little bit of pink on it. Give it a good spray. And you can make the coffee darker if you want to. So that's the second piece going on. But I had to turn the light on because I had to close the window, and there's tinting on the windows which made the room dark, and so I had to turn the light on, and now I'm sort of working in my shadow, so I apologise for that. And why did I have to close the windows? Because the darn dog across the road was barking, as usual. I haven't got it right. Well, you can see what I've done. I messed it up. That doesn't matter. It touched down before I got a chance to get it into place, but it'll be fine. It just means that there's going to be a couple of areas on this one that are thicker than the others, and a couple of areas that are a little bit thinner, but it's going to have 6 layers, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. And this one I'm going to try not to drop it. Oh, it's really hard to get it on there. It seems so far away. No. Just trying to line up those edges. Pat it down. Give it a spray. And pop the next one on. Maybe I should go this way. And the fan is going too, which the universe is working against me. Just tap it down, give it a spray, and we've got 2 layers to go, I think. This one again, go from the front. Get that front bit down, then I can pick the back bit up and scooch it out. I've only done this a couple of times, so I'm probably learning as I go and ironing out the problems as we go, literally. Okay, so I need to spray that. It's nice and wet. This is the last layer. So don't put any spray on the last one, on the top one. Just on the preceding 5. Tap it down, and then I'm going to get the paper and flatten it. Squeeze out a bit of that moisture. And also what's happening by doing that is making sure that the edges are really coated in the liquid. See how the spray isn't there, but once I press it down, it's going to push that, which is the sticky side, yeah, it's going to push the moisture out and wet those areas. Okay, so I've got it nice and flat, and I'm going to now iron it again. The ironing just gets it dry enough to be able to lift it off the paper, but it also is flattening it down, making it nice and smooth, which is what gives this the beautiful feeling that the paper has. It's hard to describe. It's almost like a velvety texture. Soft and smooth. You can see it's pushing the water out. Okay, so with the mixture, the stuff, I did mention the ratio to use, but you do need to cook it on the stove. Don't just shake it up, because what will happen is the cornstarch will settle into the bottom of your bottle and it'll cause you problems. It's not going to spray out really easily. I don't know if you can see that. Just here, there's a bit of the cooked onto my iron. And I just remembered that I've got an old iron for doing this. Why did I pick up my good iron? So use your old iron if you've got one. I bought one specifically for using on crafts. I'll change over after this one's done. That's probably dry enough now. This is actually working better to have these two pieces overlapping because it's easier to get it off. Now, if you get it too dry, it's going to stick to the paper. You've got to be careful. You're just going to judge it. Still need some moisture in there. Not too much. That looks beautiful. It's amazing that how much colour is left in those backing pieces. So if it was a 3-ply tissue or 3-ply napkin, then these would be the inside layer. So it picks up a bit of the print. So that's looking really pretty. I'll pop it over here to dry. Now I wanted to try and experiment with using a couple of top layers on there as well. So I thought I would use this one and put a top layer, it's the top layer, but I'm going to put it inside. And then I'm going to put 2 plain layers on top. So top layer with the right side up, so the wrong side is going to be on the outside, and then 2 plain, then another top layer of a different one, and then 2 more plain ones on top. So this is quite a big napkin, this one. Okay, so 1 plain. This looks like it's the same size, maybe even the back of it. Just tap it down. Spray. Okay, another backing. And spray again. And then I've got this one, which is a top layer of another one, which is smaller. So I'm going to put that face down there. So I'm hoping that you get a mixture of the purple and the green together. Well, I think that's how it's going to work out. It's just an experiment, this one. Then okay, must have run out of those bigger backing pieces. Look at this, this is a small one. Piece on. So I'll have to trim this one because this stuff here is not going to be thick enough. So using the same size would be handy. And I'm going to put down that paper, squeeze out the excess moisture. I'm trying to remember to put the sticky sides down. Flatten it all out. Oops. Get rid of some of the excess moisture around the working area. Okay, so we're going to iron it. I just want to show you what this looks like already, if I can get it up again. So you can see it's pretty, isn't it? But I'll probably be cutting it down to that size. Okay, so my $5 iron from the thrift shop was what I should have been using in the first place. Give that a couple of seconds to warm up. It's on the hottest setting, no steam. And this iron, it doesn't matter if the gooey stuff gets on it. It's still heating up though. Just use it to flatten it out while it's getting up to temperature. So try and iron from the middle to the outside, so you're pushing all the moisture out, not into the middle of the paper. You don't have to press too hard, because the weight of the iron is just going to do the work for you. It's lifting off the backing paper. Yeah, so I think that's a good sign. Take that, the sticky sides up so I remember which way to put them on next time. And now let's get it off here. Oh, it's coming off really easy, so that's good. It's a bit different, isn't it? In hindsight, I think I probably, and I can go back and do it, is to add more of the plain over the top. But we'll just leave that as it is for the time being. And think this is going to be lovely when it's dry because it's going to be way more opaque. You won't see as much of the pattern. So I'm going to pop that outside to dry, and when these are all dry I'll come back and I'll show them to you. Okay, so everything is dry now. I did have one piece that didn't work out. I'm not sure what went wrong. It sort of had a separation in the middle of it. It was almost like there wasn't any glue there, but there was, so I'm not sure what happened with that. So I sprayed it with the cornstarch glue again, and I'll just leave it to dry. But these ones all turned out nice. So that one I can see if I hold it up to the light. It has some pink flowers on it in there that I can see. This feels amazing. It feels like parchment. That's what it feels like. So this is the one that I did with the actual front part of the, you know, the top layer of the napkin. So that turned out really nice. This one was also done with a top layer. So it's got roses in the background there. If you can see it, if I'm holding it up to the light, you can see through it. This one turned out nice. And this one here, so I only ended up with two that were actually from the back sheets of the napkin. Okay, so that's nice. You can see the texture. It's really almost has a leathery look about it. It certainly doesn't feel anything like leather. It just feels beautiful. So I think I need to make something out of these. And I think maybe an envelope or something like that would be the best way to go about it. So these ones I was going to trim down. But I thought if I'm going to make something out of it and part of that's going to be on the inside, then why not leave those bits there, because they're quite strong. They're about 2 or 3 layers thick. So I'm going to knock something up and then I'll show you. So I've got a couple of things I'm going to use as templates from my envelopes. This one has got a bit of a hole there, but that won't matter because that's going to be on the inside. So this is just the back of a pad I'm using. So as long as it fits within that square, it's going to be fine. So I'm just going to line it up. I'm not going to worry about cutting off those edges because I really like the way they look. That's sort of a shabby chic look about them. Might have to trim some of the dags off. It won't be too much. So just folding it around this piece of cardboard to start with, and then I'll make whatever adjustments I need to make. Corners might have to be trimmed. So I really like that that shabby look. So all I'm going to do is just to snip these corners out. tidy this edge up just a little bit. Don't need to do too much with it. So that bit's going to get folded inside. It's a little bit out of square. But that's alright. I'll probably have to trim a little bit off there. Unless I can adjust it this way. Still a bit tall. Take that off just a bit. Just take these raggy edges off here. Make them even. Okay, this can go over here, like so. I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on there just to hold it in place. I'm just going to do that. It's a little bit out of square. You might have to trim that up a little bit. It's a pencil. Okay. So I'm going to take that off to there. I don't want it to look perfect, I just don't want it so obviously out of square. That's better. Okay, so that can now be glued down. I'll take that edge off the corner. This is going to stay as it is. Maybe that should be pulled off there. Just tidy up any little bits where you got pokey bits sticking out. So I'm going to glue down those flaps. Just going to run just a little bead of glue along here, and this is art glitter glue, and it's just in a little squeezy bottle. I haven't used mine for a while, so it's a little bit blocked up. And why did I do that? Because I needed to do this side as well. Okay. Oh, I wish you could feel this. It's beautiful. And there's the back done. There's the front. So I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling on that. Alright, so I've got this stencil, so I really like this one. And I've got tea dye and brushed corduroy because I think those colours would look really nice together. Now I want to make a closure. I reckon some lace would look really nice on this. Okay, so I'm going to put an eyelet on that. There we go. I'm going to tie a big knot in that so it can't pull through that eyelet. Yeah, I'm not sure that's going anywhere. And that can wrap around and around. And just tuck it in. Trim off these bits. And tie it off. And there we have it. Love that. It feels beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. Well, this is what I've made. So I've done 4 envelopes. I've done 2 big ones and these lovely ones here using scraps and the backing papers of the napkins, bit of stamping, bit of stenciling. Got a brad on there, got an eyelet on this one, just using up my supplies that I have in my stash, and there's a lot of them. This one I love, opens up here obviously, and I'll put this on the back of it, and then this one is, I think, is really beautiful, and I was thinking this would make lovely wedding invitation envelopes, wouldn't it? So that is actually cut off a wedding dress, that piece. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll leave a link to Dragona's video as well, so you can see where I got my inspiration from. I just wish you could feel this. This has got such a wonderful feeling to it. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way these turned out. And I'll probably make a few more and maybe put them up for sale. So I'm not sure whether I'll make them out of this paper or something else, but I really love these too, the simplicity of these little envelopes. Okay, so don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, leave a comment, share the video with your family and friends, and we see you soon for another video. So hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo!